You walk into a room and something pulls your eye. Not color, not shape, not a single bold gesture, but a surface. A surface made of pieces. Countless pieces. Wood cut and fit and arranged not like planks or panels, but like fragments of something once whole, now made new. You step closer. It's not one story, it's hundreds. And none of them are told with words. This is an abstract mosaic wood wall piece. And it doesn't speak in sentences. It speaks in texture. Each sliver of wood carries its own history. A scrap of walnut from a table that was once in someone's dining room. A chunk of pine from an old crate. A strip of cherry, warm and tight-grained. They come from everywhere. From salvage yards, from the edges of workbenches, from fallen branches and torn-apart furniture. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is too small. In the hands of a patient builder, even the tiniest block has a role to play. You can't rush this kind of work. It's not factory-made. Not uniform. Each piece is considered. Its grain, its tone, its cut. It might be angled or square, sanded smooth or left rough. It might be only a quarter-inch thick or it might jet out like a ledge. There's no script. The design doesn't come from a blueprint. It unfolds like jazz, spontaneous, responsive, alive. Some mosaics favor symmetry, gradients that move from dark to light, like a sunset in slow motion. Others go fully chaotic and yet still feel balanced. They might form waves, ridges, sudden eruptions of geometry. You could look at one and see a landscape. Someone else might see music, or wind, or fire. That's the beauty of abstraction. It gives just enough shape to invite imagination but never enough to pin it down. The colors aren't painted. They come from the wood itself. From oak's warm tan to the nearly black heart of wenge. From the golden clarity of maple to the reddish depths of mahogany. There's something ancient in these tones. Something earthy. No two pieces look exactly the same, even when they're cut from the same plank. The grain shifts. The knots appear. The fibers stretch. You don't get uniformity. You get variation. And in variation you get rhythm. You stand close to one of these pieces and notice the shadows. Each block casts its own. Some are tall and throw long diagonal shade. Others are flat, catching the light like tiles. Together they create a kind of living texture. One that changes with the sun, with the time of day, with the angle of your gaze. From morning to dusk, the artwork evolves. It's never the same twice. It breathes with the room. Some pieces are small, just a few feet across. Perfect above a console table or couch. Others stretch across entire walls. They become environments, installations. Not just something to look at, but something to live with. You walk past them and your hand can't help but reach out. The surface invites touch. There's something primal about it. Like bark, like stone. It grounds the space. Builders use every technique at their disposal. Miter cuts, compound angles, press fits, inlays, dowels. Some pieces are glued, some pinned. Some even float, attached magnetically or with hidden mounts. And while the face is chaotic, the structure behind it is solid. A framework hidden behind the complexity, like bones beneath skin. In some panels, the wood is charred before it's mounted, using fire to bring out the grain. A technique borrowed from the Japanese tradition of shosugi-ban. The result? Blackened ridges, ghostly gray valleys. An added dimension. An ancient texture. A modern mood. Other times the blocks are stained, subtly or boldly. Indigo washes into the maple. Burnt sienna deepens the pine. But the grain always shows through. That's the rule. The wood is never hidden. It's revealed. Elevated. There's often a musicality to these pieces. Not just in how they look but in how they're made. The tapping of blocks against the backing board. The rhythmic hum of sanding. The soft press of glue. The repetition. The patience. It's almost ritualistic. A meditation in shape and form. And there's no waste. Offcuts become puzzle pieces. Triangles. Rhomboids. Slivers that might otherwise be swept into the dustbin are saved, turned, placed. It's woodworking without ego. Nothing is too small to matter. Some creators work with precise symmetry, mirrored patterns that bloom outward like mandalas or geometric bursts. Others favor a wild kind of asymmetry, clustered chaos that somehow finds a center anyway. The composition might be planned, or it might evolve in real time, one piece inspiring the next. It's less about building an image and more about building a feeling. And when the last block is placed, the whole piece is sanded, not flat but gently. Edges softened. Corners kissed by the grain of paper. Dust floats. The piece becomes quiet. Then comes the finish. Oil usually. Sometimes wax. Rarely polyurethane, too glossy, too plastic. The goal is depth, warmth. That soft, matte glow that only comes when wood is allowed to breathe. You hang it, and it doesn't just decorate the wall. It becomes part of it. It softens echoes, changes the way light moves, adds presence, adds calm. These are not loud pieces, not flashy. They're not trying to impress. They're trying to settle, to ground, to make a space feel held. There's something timeless about the process, something ancient. Feels like building a stone wall, or a nest, or a mosaic floor in a temple. One piece at a time, one decision at a time, until something larger emerges. Something that couldn't have been seen at the start. Something that only reveals itself when all the parts come together. And yet each piece still matters. Each block still tells its own story. You could get lost in one corner of the panel and never move your eyes. You'd see a whole world in that 1 square foot. A dozen kinds of grain. A dozen tones. A dozen textures. It's art that doesn't demand attention, but rewards it over and over again. In a world full of smooth, slick surfaces, glass, plastic, metal, mosaic wood art offers contrast. It's irregular, tactile, human. It reminds us that beauty doesn't have to be clean. That complexity can be comforting. That chaos, when held in place by care, can become something stable, something peaceful. These pieces are at home in modern lofts and rustic cabins alike. They're not about style. They're about feeling. A connection to materials, to hands, to time. When you stand before one, you don't just see what was built. You see the time it took, the patience, the thought, the love. And maybe, if you let yourself be still, you feel a little of that settle into you too. Because in the end, an abstract mosaic wood wall piece isn't just something to look at. It's something to live with. It changes your space. And slowly, quietly, it changes you. Most people see a bin of wood scraps and think, firewood, or trash. Or maybe a shim for a squeaky door if they're feeling creative. But for makers who build abstract mosaic wood wall pieces, that scrap pile is a treasure chest. A mess of different grains, shades, widths, all whispering "use me," and together they make a wall that never stays still. A good wood mosaic doesn't hide its randomness. It celebrates it. Different lengths, different depths, tiny chips mixed with larger blocks, soft pine pressed against rich walnut, maybe a rogue piece of painted trim slipped in as a surprise. There's no rule that says the pieces have to match. The beauty comes from the clash. It starts on the floor, not the wall. You lay out handfuls of scraps, some thin, some thick, some wedges, some nearly perfect rectangles. You push them around like a jigsaw puzzle with no box image to follow. Flip them over. Rotate. Break one in half if it looks too neat. The goal is to kill symmetry before it ruins the vibe. Some artists glue each piece straight onto a sturdy backer board, tight like parquet. Others lift them up and stagger them, stacking height so the light hits the peaks and valleys differently every hour of the day. Some cut clean, straight lines so it feels modern, almost pixelated. Others leave splintered edges, raw ends, saw marks, brutal honesty about where the wood came from and what it survived. Colors matter. Not painted color, wood color. Honey pine, dark chocolate walnut, pale birch, blackened oak if you scorch it. Some builders torch the end grain with a propane flame to bring out deep blacks and smoky shadows, then wire brush it so the soft parts recess, leaving ridges that catch the light. A whole patchwork of nature's palette, no stain needed. And grain direction, that's the secret sauce. Run one piece horizontal, the next vertical, then diagonal. This messes with the light. It makes the eye jump from block to block. It means the same wall looks different at dawn than at dusk. It means guests keep leaning in for a closer look, trying to figure out why a pile of offcuts looks like a living thing nailed to drywall. Mounting can go big or small. A single panel above a couch. Or floor to ceiling, edge to edge, no visible seams, just a continuous wave of blocks and shadows. Some people frame the mosaic with clean trim to box in the chaos. Others let the edges run wild, jagged and unapologetic, like it's trying to grow past its own border. Building it is not quick work. It's glue. It's clamps. It's waiting. One row at a time. If you rush it, gaps open up and pieces pop off the backer like popcorn. So you take your time. You check the pattern. You adjust. You walk away and come back later when your eyes reset. It's more puzzle than construction. And then you finish it, or not. Some leave it raw, so each chunk tells the truth. Dings, nail holes, saw curves, paint splatters from its past life in someone else's project. Others sand it lightly and oil it to pull the colors deeper, giving it a warm glow under indoor light. A few brave souls coated in high-gloss resin so the blocks look trapped under glass, shiny, slick, almost too perfect for what started as garbage wood. Hang one on a boring white wall and the room changes immediately. Suddenly there's depth. There's shadow. There's story. It doesn't care if your furniture is modern or rustic. It fits because it's not pretending to be polished art. It's real. It's messy. It's alive. That's the magic. What used to be worthless becomes the thing everyone notices first. People touch it without asking permission. They lean close, eyes searching for patterns that aren't really there. Some panels look like city blocks from the sky. Others feel like a forest floor frozen mid-chaos. No two are the same and no two ever will be. So next time you sweep up your workshop and think about dumping the scrap bin, don't bag it, sort it, stash it. Because in a world of perfect panels and pristine slabs, a mosaic wall piece reminds us that sometimes the best art comes from the leftovers nobody else wanted.